Hello, I'm Crafty Patty and thank you so much for tuning in for another fun video. I'm all about the beach, so I've just got to do a beach craft for you. We're going to be using broken glass into a rock tumbler to turn a broken piece of recycled glass into a beautiful, frosted, smooth-edged piece of glass. I'll be showing you how to break up recycled bottles to get your glass. We'll be talking about what happens if I want to use a bag of mixed sea glass for only $2 from the dollar store. Looks pretty, doesn't it? I'll show you what happens. I'll touch a little bit on polishing rocks, but that's not the main purpose of the video. So continue watching and I'll show you the process on what you need to do to get that beautiful faux sea glass. Over the years, I've been collecting beach glass. And as you can see, the beaches where I live, we have mostly white, brown, and green. And on occasion, I will get this beautiful blue color, which doesn't happen very often. So when I do see it, I do pick it up, even though it has not been frosted and it has not completed the process of becoming actual beach glass. You might find a piece of glass that's really beautifully frosted, and this has been there. Could be anywhere from years to hundreds to years, and some pieces of beach glass can be over 1,000 years old. So it's very, very precious. Being that it's hard to find these colors on my beach here, I actually found some at the dollar store. It is called mixed sea glass and is only $2. So has this ever been in the sea? Probably not. So this is what I would call faux sea glass. But I'm going to give it a try and see what happens when I put it in the rock tumbler. And then I'll put in some of these other pieces that just haven't become sea glass as well. The rock tumbler that I have is the Lortone. It's model 3A. This is one of the best models you can buy. The reason I want this one is because this will last for many, many years. The engine is not going to burn out on you, and it has the full rubber compartment, which actually helps to reduce some of the sound when you're doing your rock tumbling. So this is fairly easy to open. It's just a screw top. There's a washer. You can always use the washer to help you aid when after it's come off the tumbler. Right now it's not going to be hard to open. That comes off, and then there's this rubber seal that holds it all together. So inside, this is all a rubber, and inside here it's all rubber. This is what helps to reduce the sound a little bit as well. Now, as far as grit goes, to polish up the sea glass, because I only want a frosted look, I might only use the coarse grit number 1. This is the first stage. If you were wanting to do rocks, this is a whole different process. You'll need all 4 stages, and be prepared because this could take up to a month to get your beautiful polished shiny rocks. Each one takes about 1 week, but for sea glass, I'm only going to use the coarse grit to start with, and I'll put it in just for 24 hours. I'll check it and we'll see what it looks like. It might turn out a little bit more like this one, where it's more frosted, whereas these ones have no frosting whatsoever. If I need more, I'll put it in for another 24 hours and check it again. If you are tumbling beach glass, something to think about is that the glass is very flat, and what can happen is it can sometimes kind of stick together inside your tumbler like this. So what we do is we add something like either some rocks, or you can add plastic pellets. And this will help to keep these pieces of glass separated so you get frosting on all edges. These plastic pellets are specially made for rock tumbling, and they can be reused. So it's not like you have to use them once and then you have to throw them out. If you just use them for one of the coarse grit and keep it for that, that's fine, but you can reuse this. You want to try to fill your barrel to about 3/4 full. So I'm going to start by putting in some different pieces here. I'm obviously looking for some that have got a different shape, so it helps for the other flatter pieces not to stick together. This is the beach glass that I got from the dollar store. So I'm putting that in because I want the teal. And we'll put in some purple. So I'm just about 3/4 full. So I'm going to come in with some of my plastic pellets here now. And I'm just going to top it up with that. And that will help to keep those flat pieces of glass not sticking together. And this is what the coarse grit looks like. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons. Now, if you were doing rocks, normally you would add 4 tablespoons of this first one. But I'm doing beach glass, so it's a little tiny bit different. So I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons. And once you've got everything in there, you're going to top it up with water just until the water covers this top part of the glass here. Just about there. You don't want to over put water in because then it will be too mucky. Okay, so that water is just covering the top. On goes the lid. Isn't this exciting? We're going to see what happens and see what it looks like soon. So there's that portion of the lid. On goes your next lid. Your washer. And this one here, you just bring it on till it's finger tight. That's all you need. That's good. All right, we're ready to put it into the machine and plug it in. I've just brought this into the laundry room because I will be doing other videos in the craft room, so I don't want the noise disturbing my other videos. I've only got it in the box to absorb a little bit of the sound. See that there's a gap here between. That's where you're sitting it onto this little hole in here. So you want to make sure that that's sitting in the right position. So I'm going to turn this on for you now, and then you can see the noise level. So probably the amount of noise, it's not a bad noise for your, it's fine in your laundry room, but I wouldn't be putting it in your bedroom. Okay, there you go. And I should comment that, yes, I have it in a box, but I'm not enclosing the box. You want to have this left open for air circulation because this motor does get a little warm. It's been 24 hours and I'm ready to empty this into a strainer, a metal strainer with fairly large holes that I got from the dollar store, much cheaper than getting a gold panning type of dish. Dollar store works just great, and I just have a silver bowl to catch any of the drippings, and I've got a little bit of water here so I can wash off any of the glass so we can see what it really looks like. Unscrewing the top, taking off this, and if you can't get this off, which is probably going to be the same for you, because you might have a little bit of suction there, but it came off actually very easily for that portion. And this one, you can just release the rubber all the way around and then take off your lid. Now, I'm not even going to dump this out because I can see already that it really hasn't done much of anything. I'll just wash this one piece off here. You can see some frosting, but it's got a ways to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more of the grit, and we're going to let this go for another 24 hours. In goes 1 more tablespoon of the coarse grit. And I can see that my water level is still fine. It's just covering my top layer there. When you go to put your lid back on, make sure that there's no debris or anything around this rubber ring here before you put your lid on again. Same with this rubber ring here. Just make sure it's clean and there's nothing that's going to prevent that from going on nice and tight. And back in the tumbler for another 24 hours. Here's our reveal after 2 days of tumbling. So I'm just going to pour it into my strainer here, and the excess will go into my bowl below. And I'm going to take this outside and use my garden hose to clean this off. And I can probably use some of this sludge that's come into the bottom here if I want to go another day with this. But do not put this down any drain, a basement drain, your kitchen drain, any drain. It will clog it. It'll turn into clay. It'll be rock hard and it'll plug your drains. So definitely do this outside in your garden. Here I am outside. We've got the plastic pellets down the bottom here and the glass is on the top here. So I'm just going to remove my bottom tray here so I can maybe save this for another go so I'm not wasting all that coarse grit. I'll just clean off my glass pieces and I'll leave all the plastic pellets behind so I can make sure they're good and clean for the next use. Got all my glass pieces removed, and I'm just going to give my plastic pellets a bit of a clean here. Let those dry and then I can reuse those. And while you're out washing your glass or your rocks, make sure you do a nice clean wash out to the inside of your tumbler, to the lid and here, because you don't want to mix up the different grits. Remember all that pretty sea glass that I got from the dollar store? Well, this is what you have to be careful of because it's actually painted. It's not real glass. And this is what I got. It turned all of the glass the same color. I have lots of nice frosted glass now, which I can still use, but disappointing because I really wanted the lovely colors. So when you're looking for glass to do faux beach glass, you've got to kind of really look in the edge here, and I don't know if you can see it, but the painted edge is reflecting inside. It makes it look like the whole glass is green, but it's not. It's actually clear inside. You can actually see it on this piece here where a little bit of the blue dye is still left over here that didn't get totally ground out from the tumbling. So my dollar store pretend sea glass wasn't a total failure because it did turn out to be a really pretty light greeny blue. There's a white just so for some comparison. So I'll use that, but I really want some blue glass and I can't find that on my beach. So I went to the secondhand store and I found this blue bottle and I found this tealy blue bottle. So I'm excited about that. And then I had to take some bottles to the bottle depot. And when I got there, I saw some ladies that were bringing up their bottles and I said, hey, can I buy your blue bottles? Desperate for blue glass, am I? So that's where these came from, and I just paid them 25 cents and they gave me their bottles. So if you want to find blue glass, go to your bottle depot and look at everybody's carts, or look in recycle bins on the street, wherever. Anyways, we're going to have some fun, and I'm going to break up this glass. We're going to put it back in the rock tumbler, and then I'm going to have some blue glass. So before I do that, I'm going to put on my safety goggles. I'm going to put on some no-cut Kevlar gloves. I've got long shirt, long pants, and we're going to go out and do some smashing and get our frustrations out. Yeah! I'm using this bin, so if there's anything that shatters, it will be contained in here so I don't have it all over my outdoor driveway. Let's put this glass in here. I'm going to put another one over top just so it helps it to not go everywhere. And now you can have fun. Smash it. And you can see what we've got already. So if there's any little pieces like this, I'm going to save those ones. And this is what your gloves come in handy for. And we'll just go again a little bit more lightly this time. Because if you keep pounding on it, it's just going to end up in shreds. And there won't be anything left of it. And continue on like that until you've got the sizes that you want. And then I'll have a bunch of glass to put in the tumbler. And just from a few bottles, I've got a big bowl of royal blue and some teal in this one. And this is the little bits that I've got left over that I won't use. It's just too small. So I'm just going to put my gloves back on here and fill up my tumbler. And I've got a whole bunch of different sizes here. So that will make it so it doesn't stick right together. And again, filling about 3/4 full. I'm going to put in, remember those plastic pellets that I washed and cleaned. I'm going to put those back in. That just helps to keep the glass pieces separated. And remember, I had this sludge left over, and I don't like wasting things, so I'm just going to try to get as much of this back in here and use it up. And again, do not clean your bowl in the kitchen sink. Take it outside with your garden hose and do it in the garden so this does not plug your sink. And I'm guessing I only had about 1 tablespoon of the grit in there. So I'm going to add 2 more. So if you're doing it at home, 3 tablespoons of coarse grit. And I'm just going to top that up with water until the water is just covering that top layer of glass. And that's looking pretty good. So pop our lid back on. And I'll put this back on the tumbler for 3 days and just let her go. That ended up being 4 days of tumbling because I got busy doing other things because I'm a multitasker and I'm always doing something. Ooh, we got goopy mess. And there's the results after 4 days of tumbling. This was what it looked like originally, and this is after the 4 days. All the edges are really nice and smooth, not sharp like the original, and a nice frosting. So there's the nice tealy blue one. And here's the royal blue. There's the original, very sharp edges, and here's the 4 days. All the edges nice and smooth, and a frosting. So 4 days did a great job. I'm going to go out and clean this outside, and I'll come back and show you all the pieces. And here's the whole batch I did with the teal and the royal blue. And you can see how some of these aren't totally dry, like this one here. You can see the frosting here, but when it's wet, it still looks like it hasn't done anything. But when it dries, it will look frosted. And there you go. Now you'll notice also that I have it on a gray towel for them to dry, and glass will reflect what's underneath for the color. So these ones are looking on the darker side as well as these ones. But you can see when I put them on the white, how the white makes the color reflect nicer and they're more brighter. So if you are using them for, like, say, making patio stones and you want to put some accents in, then that's when you see people painting the back side and spray painting them white. Just like being on this white paper towel, you'll see how much brighter they are than, say, this piece here. Well, now I've got some beautiful light blue that we made from the fake sea glass we got from the dollar store. I've got my faux glass I've made from bottles, and I've got some real sea glass. So I know what you're thinking, what is she going to do with all this glass? I've got some ideas in mind. So turn on that notification button and make sure you don't miss any videos so you can see what we're going to do with all this wonderful glass. Till next time, bye-bye.